I am going to give you three very specific questions. I'm going to tell you exactly where to insert them into your current sales process, your current sales script, so you can close some online clients, high ticket online clients. And this will work even if you've only ever sold face-to-face personal training. How do I know this? Because I had only ever sold face-to-face personal training. What was I? 36, 37. And to be honest, I was pretty good at selling clients in the gym into my program. If you're 35 plus, if you've been in the industry like I had for getting on for a decade, 5, 6, 7 years, this video is definitely for you. And it's definitely for you if you're a bit unsure about how would you actually convince or close clients into an online program, not only an online program where you want to charge between 1,000 and 2,000, sometimes even more. So I'm going to go over these three questions. I'm going to tell you some extensions of the questions, but I'm going to give you some principles of why you would do this as well. If you've never sold anything online, this is definitely a 12-minute, 15-minute training that you would like to watch. Why would anyone want to listen to me? I've sold, used to say $3 million worth of coaching and consulting. I guess at some point I need to up that. So I reckon I've probably sold the best part of $3.5 million worth of coaching and consulting. I've done that all on Zoom or old school Skype, maybe a couple on the phone. And it all started when I sold my first online client in at £1,200, which at the time was about $1,500. Up until then, I had only ever sold in person. And when I first started with my first coach, Glenn said something to me, which I don't know if I really totally understood how profound it was on the sales conversation I had with him, but I definitely realized later on. And he asked me if people who served in McDonald's were good at closing, were good at sales. And I obviously said, no. I asked you the same thing. No. And he goes, yeah, that's because they're order takers. And then he looked at me and he goes, you're an order taker. Now, it was quite strong. And I was like, man, my ego wanted to pipe out. I've sold loads of stuff in the gym, and most of the people that sit in front of me, they say yes, or half of the people. And as I worked through his program and we started actually having coaching conversations, like client, coach, he would explain the reason he does that is because most personal trainers, in his experience, they were good at selling to people who were sitting in front of them in a gym ready to basically buy. It's like me selling cakes to someone who's already standing in a bakery queue. Like, it's not that difficult. Now, selling online, you need to overcome some objections that you wouldn't even dream of when you're in the gym, because the gym is obvious what they're buying. They're buying personal training, they're buying sessions, they're buying blocks of your time. Whereas when we go online, we want to package up what we've done, our experience, our knowledge, our results, and we package that into an online program which isn't standing next to someone in the gym. So you do get lots of different objections. And again, because we're going to be asking for commitment from people in one go up front for 2K, they're the best sales. When you get someone say yes and look at your banking app, and if you've never sold anything online, if you've never sold high ticket, you look at your banking app and there's someone's just paid me $2,000 for an online program. I can assure you now that's a nice situation to be in. So listen, I'm going to tell you what you would already need to have to be able to insert these questions in. If you don't have a sales process at all, then that's definitely something that you would want. Inside the High Paid Health Coach, we have a 6-box selling system. That is a training that I first started teaching getting on for a decade ago. In fact, it might have been a decade ago. And if I tried to even figure out how many sales have been made from that process with all of the clients that I've worked with in all of the time that I've worked with them, and how many sales they made, we're talking, I don't know. I actually don't know. It's definitely going to be more than, I don't know. I'm definitely going to be like millions, multi-millions, 10, maybe above 10 million. I don't know. So You need to have your own sales process already in place, like the basics of it. And I'd give you the 3 checkpoint questions and why these are so powerful. Now, this week inside my program, I've actually been listening to some sales calls. I listened to one of our new guys, Nicola, listened to her training, and I gave her some feedback. Listened to her sales call and I gave her some feedback. And this is some of the stuff I said to her. I think what happens is when we're online, because we're selling something that the person's not always solution aware with, when they come to you in the gym, they're solution aware. They know the solution is to buy personal training. Matey boy, big hench dude in his vest shouts at me and tells me to do more burpees. They know that. With online, they're not always solution aware. More so now, but still they don't actually know what's going to happen in the program. So we need to have a really solid sales structure to be able to get someone to go, yes, I want to buy this. I gave this feedback for Nicola because Nicola got to the end. Hopefully no one knows who Nicola, you don't mind me saying this, but no one knows who Nicola is or anything like that. But she got to the end and she made the offer and the guy was like, oh, I want to think about it. And so then I gave some feedback to Nicola about what was going on. She's like, well, what I've said in the close is like, the problem arose earlier on in the call. He had almost like, no, it was clear early in the call that he wasn't coming along this sales journey with you, and so when you made him the offer, he'd already fallen off. I give the example to Nicola, I gave it to all my clients. It's almost like you're there with the prospect. You're walking along together. Imagine like you're walking along in like a nice park or something. It's a nice sunny day, and they're there and they're standing next to you, and you're talking to them. You're asking them questions, and they're giving you their answers and their thoughts, and talking about the struggles that they're going through and where they want to get to with fitness and what's held them back previously and what they're worried about going forward and what they would need. And we just need to make sure that they're always standing next to us. They're always on the same page as us, as I mix metaphors. Because what often happens, and definitely happened in this call, is we'd almost like taken our eye off the ball and he was like 10 meters behind. Like we were just sort of almost going towards the close and he had just dropped off, a good 20 minutes ago. The 3 checkpoint questions. Where would I put them? It depends on your sales process. We use an open, we use a pain, we use a pleasure, open box, pain box, pleasure box, shopping list box. We do a close box and we have a objection handling box at the end. But my aim is for most of my guys to not get to that. You don't want to have to tackle objections. Ideally, the person just goes, yes. And so this is flexible, but I would generally ask the first question in the pain and then the second question more in the sort of pleasure, and then the third question more when I'm sort of getting towards the shopping list, the bridge. That might mean nothing to you if you've not done many sales calls, but you can probably work out where to use these calls, these questions. And we need to make sure that the person's always there. And if we're not, at least we want to understand, like, what reason are they not taking the next step with us? So the first question goes, does something need to change? Now that might seem very, well, obviously something needs to change because they wouldn't be there. But telling is selling when they say it's the truth. Telling is selling when they say it's the truth. So early on in the call, around the pain, around when I'm talking about their current situation and how it's affecting them, just like curious, but do you think something needs to change here? My frame it's a lot in the tonality. So it's like the curious frame. I wouldn't ever go as far as sort of bumbling frame. It's not, but I'm kind of like my body language. I'm like, just curious. Like, I mean, I don't know. Do you think something like needs to change here? And usually the answer at that point is yes. Yes, you do. Yes. Okay. Now, if the answer at that point is no, I mean, end the call. Or challenge them, but end the call. Okay. Now, I've never, ever heard it be no. Never. Do you think something needs to change? Now, if you stay until the end of the video, I'm going to give you the little extra question that you can ask after every one of these 3 questions. I'm going to come back to that. So question number 2. Now, to be clear, you don't just do these like machine gun one after the other. So question number 2, probably a little bit of a gap between, I don't know, between the first one and this one, 5 minutes at least. do you think you need help with this? So something like, just, do you think you need like help with this? And readiness to change is the first one, but this is almost like, do you think that you can do this on your own? That frame. Now, at this point, if someone says, no, I don't need help with this. Okay. So there's ways of challenging that for sure. There's ways of helping someone see that their confidence is not built on reality for sure. All of my coaching, all of my sales conversations are just getting the truth on the table. I'm not afraid to challenge someone if they say something that's stupid and ridiculous. But again, I'm not there to convince someone to do something they don't want to do. Do you think something like needs to change here? Yeah, I do. Okay, you do? Yes. Yes. Now, let me just add some texture into this. I have a process or thought process which is called coaching yeses. They do not get to say yeah. It's not allowed. Yeah. Yes, no, yes, you do, no. Now, the reason that we do this in sales is because we want a commitment. So when we're walking along, they're actually with us. So think about it like this. If I allow someone on the sales call to keep going, yeah, I guess, yeah. And then when I make the offer, they're like, oh, yeah, there's just no commitment. So I coach yeses right from the beginning. And the place I do it in low consequence environments, which is in the first question, does something need to change? Yeah. Yes, no, yeah, it does. No. It's kind of a bit of humor in this one. I'm like, you do, you don't, no, yes. Yes. So something needs to change. Yes. It does, yes. Okay. So what's really cool about this structure is that when you ask the question, the next one, which we've just talked about, which is, do you think you need help with this? And you get a yeah. You just ding, ding, ding. You just do the same thing. And how many times have I had this happen where they go, yeah. And I look at them, I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I mean, yes. And they are already self-correcting themselves. Now, you might sit there and go, Tim, this mind fuckery stuff that you know and you've learned, like, is that not just like being trickery, fuckery, pokery and manipulating people into doing something that they don't want to do? No, because what their brain is doing is it's looking for a way out, because change is hard. Change is hard. We are a necessary evil in coaching, in business coaching, in personal training. If they could do it on their own, they would, but they're scared because probably they've failed so many times before. So my job as a coach is to just get the truth on the table in the program as well, by the way. I don't accept yes in the program, let alone at this point. So I'm like, and again, coaching yeses, if you need to go yes, no, they'll go, I mean, yes it does. You sure? I mean, you tell me. No, it does. And then you give them this little extra question. I'm going to tell you what it is. Then the last one is the one that is Big Kahuna's question. Now, some of you out there would be just happy to just ask this to everyone. Other people, it takes a little bit of practice, which is just to sit there straight looking at their eyes. Obviously, you're on Zoom, so you can't exactly, you can't stare into their eyes, but you sit there with a glance. You're not looking down. You're not going, you're not hiding behind stuff. Do you think you want my help? And then you just shut up and let them, if they squirm, let them squirm. If they just go, yes, awesome. Here's the reason why I found this the one with my guys where they find a little bit more nervous energy just before they're about to ask it. Because what happens if the person says no? What happens if the person says no? And again, with my guys, I'm like, good. Truth on the table. Finish the call. Because if you didn't ask the question, that's still in their mind. They still don't think that they need help. And so when you ask the question, do you want to do the program? You tell them the offer and the price, etc. The reality is they don't want your help. And so there was no point in making the offer. Now, again, do I generally sort of on that one, do I try and overcome that one in the sense of ask some other questions around like why they would get my help? Probably not, no. Would I ask them the right questions to overcome the sort of do you think you need help one? And it's like, because lots of the time the reality is they are not going to do this on their own, for sure. Now, would I do the same thing with do you want my help? Probably not. I'm humble enough to just be like, okay, well, maybe I'm not right for them. The idea is at this point they're like, yes. Now, if they're yeah, fine. At least we now know that they're not totally with us. Yes. Oh, okay. Right. You certain there? And then shut up. Why? And here's the reveal. The question that you ask after, and it's one word. To be clear, you don't ask this like a robot after every one of the 3 checkpoint questions. But you can say to the person, why? Does something need to change? Yes. Why? And that will open up more of the reasons why they want to do this, they need to do this. Again, it's not a machine gun after everyone. Do you need some help with this? Yes. Yeah, I do. You do? Yes. Yes? Yes, I do. Just curious, why? Why'd you say that? And then they'll tell you all the reasons why they think and know that they need help. Tried it to do it on my own, always failed at it, blah, blah, blah. Just can't do it. I just don't seem to be able to do it on my own. Okay, cool. Awesome. So truth on the table. And then the last one, which is again, big kahunas. Do you want my help with this? Yes. And this is the one which really gets people. Why me? Now, people are worried. I've had all sorts of things said to this at this point. The thing is, we just want the truth on the table. You seem normal. One thing that's been said. I love the behavior change approach. I know that you're in the trenches. I've been watching your content. I've seen the client results. Whatever it is, I was referred to you. Your prospects, your potential clients are going to be in exactly the same boat. Now, if they say no, fine. Then just don't make them an offer. There is huge power in these 3 checkpoint questions with the bonus extra why. Add in also the coaching yeses, and you've got a real solid structure to be able to run through, if it's anything like our 6-box selling system, to just make sure that they're always there and with you and ready. It's almost like you got your arm around them. So when they've told you, yes, something needs to change, they've told you why potentially, yes, I need help with this. We need to know that they do think they need help and they can't do it on their own, which by the way, most of the time they can't. And yes, I want your help. And the reasons why they want your help, when you get to the close, you are way more likely to get a answer, which is a good answer for them and a good answer for you. I hope that was helpful. I've sold nearly $3.5 million worth of coaching and consulting. And my hope is that I've done it in a way where it doesn't feel icky. It doesn't feel like the other. It's not that I don't put pressure on people. I do if I feel I need to. If they're in a delirious world that they think they can do them based on what? But they're solid, positive conversations that get a solid, positive outcome. Whether that's a strong no, or they don't need my help, or they don't want to work with me and then prefer to work with someone else, fantastic. Or it's a strong yes, let's do this. And I can tell you now, the first time that you open up your banking app and someone's just paid you $2,000 paid in full for an online program, and you're sitting there thinking, shit me, I'd have had to have done however many sessions in the gym for that. It's a very, very, very good feeling. Guys, I hope you got lots of value from the training, and I will speak to you all soon.